ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin. This is my co-host Teddy. If I look really hot, it's because I just shot this entire video only to realize that I didn't press record on the camera. So yeah, and I don't run my air conditioner. It's really hot here in Taipei in Taiwan at the moment because it's loud. Obviously, we don't want that. It'll make the video come out really bad. So yeah. But anyways, today we're doing a gaming mouse review, and we're checking out this guy right here. It's the Zowie EC2-B. So this is an interesting gaming mouse in the fact that it comes in two different sizes. So you can get it in the medium size, which is what I've got it in, and you can get it in the large size. Now I opted to get it in this medium size because I think it's the one most people would go for. It's probably the most all-rounder one. And I think the large size, although I have large hands and it maybe would have suited me better, I don't think it would have been as appropriate to do it because not as many of you guys out there would probably opt for the large one. If you have small hands or, you know, medium-sized hand, obviously you're going to go for the medium. So I think this would be the better one to test out. But if you are someone with large hands, then you can opt for the larger model. Now this is a right-handed gaming mouse, and it's coming in with a pretty lightweight at about 90 grams. That's not, I wouldn't call that super lightweight, but it's definitely lower down on the scale, so that's quite good. But the main feature that I think a lot of people will be interested in this gaming mouse because of is the sensor. So it's coming with the Pixar PWM 3360 optical sensor. PWN, I should say. So this is one that, if you do not know of it already, I wouldn't call it a very new sensor, but I don't think anyone would ever call it bad. And we'll talk about the performance a bit more later, but it's definitely the standout feature with this gaming mouse. But it isn't the only feature it has. Those feet you see around there, it comes with some more. 16 in fact. So you can change these out if they, I guess, wear down or you're having issues with them. So they come with that. I'm not sure how many people would actually change them out. I mean, I never have on any of my gaming mice that I've ever owned, but I guess it's good that it comes with it. It's also coming with a 1000 Hertz polling rate, which is something I guess you would expect with a gaming mouse of this price. Now let's talk about the looks quickly. So straight away you would have noticed that this is certainly not a eye-catching gaming mouse, I guess you might say. If you had to describe it in one word, I guess you would say it's a very safe-looking gaming mouse. Now there's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I actually quite like it. I like the more minimalistic approach. I think it means if you're going to use this in an office or something, which some people might for productivity type jobs, where you need a lot of precision with your mouse, if you're doing, say, photo editing and things like that, it's not going to stand out. It's not going to make you look super hardcore, but it's also good for people at home that just don't want the super gamery looking gaming mice, which it seems like all the companies are doing now. They're putting RGB like crazy all over them. They're putting all these angular sort of designs and that out there, and I can understand why some people like it, especially if you're paying a lot for a gaming mouse. You want it to come with all this crazy stuff. You want it to stand out. You want it to sort of show people that it is expensive. But there's another lot of people, which I think I would more identify myself with, that don't really care for that stuff, especially the RGB in that. And so they will trend towards more ones like this, the more safer, subtle design, because they know that they just prefer it. I think it can look better depending on what your theme is for your battle station, and I quite like it. But again, this is something that's going to be very much personal taste. So let's move on to comfort, because that's much more important than the looks. So with the safe design, you have sort of safety with the comfort too. It doesn't matter if you're going to be doing a palm grip or a claw grip with it, it's going to feel comfortable either way. With this sort of safe design, which I wouldn't say is an exceptionally new design, we've definitely seen this before, it does have a more pronounced hump in the middle, I would say, than many others of this sort of similar design, this sort of flowing design, I might say. but it's very comfortable. It doesn't matter which grip you use, it's going to be comfortable, it's going to be nice. The material is okay, I guess. The coating is somewhat nice. I mean, it leaves fingerprints, something fierce, but it's pretty good. So I think for most people out there, you'll be safe in knowing that the comfort is just fine with it, and you're not going to have a problem with it. I definitely have tested gaming mice that are more comfortable. Some of the Logitech line, G900, G502, and things like that would probably be more comfortable than this guy. That's an area Logitech have done very well, but I think this one is more, anyone could use it and anyone would find it comfortable type thing, if you understand where I'm getting at it. So yeah, I think it does good in terms of comfort. But let's talk about the performance then, because as I said earlier, the sensor is a standout feature. So as I said, it's coming with the Pixar PWN3360 optical sensor. Now what's interesting about this gaming mouse is the fact that most of them now come with some sort of software, and you can really dial in a lot of the settings when it comes to the sensor, whereas with this one, you don't have any of that. Now Zowie pride themselves on the fact that their gaming mice are plug and play, in the sense that you just plug them in, all the settings are here on the mouse, no need to download software, and that's why a lot of professionals, professional esports players and stuff like them, because of course they're always going to different computers, they're going to events and things like that, and they can just plug the mouse in. Obviously the settings are right there on the bottom, and they can just, you know, get up and go. So it has a bunch of different DPI settings that you can go through. That's good, but you cannot adjust it outside of that, which is a bit limiting. Some people will say, well, you can go into Windows and do the adjustments there. I would say to that, sure, but your results are definitely going to vary. But with that in mind, is the sensor any good? Yes, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's very, very good. I use this for doing productivity stuff, picture editing, video editing. It was great, and for gaming, especially first-person shooter gaming, it is superb. This is definitely one of the best sensors out there right now, and I think anyone who tries this gaming mouse out would say that the sensor is fantastic. So it does a very, very good job there, and I think you can be safe in knowing that this gaming mouse will be very good, especially if you're doing FPS gaming. It's not just limited to that, but I would say that's where it really excels the most. Now let's talk about the buttons and the scroll wheel. So the right and left click it has, which are decently loud, as you can hear. They're pretty good. They have a nice sort of tactile feel. They have a bit more travel than I would say the average gaming mouse does these days anyway. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's all personal taste. And I would say they're just fine. Yeah, nice switches in them. Feels good. And for gaming and everything, especially when you're aiming like with a scope or something, when you're holding down that right click, that feels really nice for them. Now, as far as the forward and back buttons, these side buttons go, they're good. They're up and out of the way. That's always what you want. I hate it when they're down too low and you accidentally hit them, especially when you're doing more casual things, browsing the web, doing something like that, and you accidentally hit the back, and you know, the video has to like reload and stuff afterwards. That's really annoying. Not the case with this guy. Up and out of the way, nice and easy to use. However, when it comes to the scroll wheel, I do have a bit of an issue with it. And I know what you guys are thinking. You're going, oh, especially the long-time fans would be like, oh, Kevin, why is it every time when it comes to gaming mice, you are so particular with the scroll wheel? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's very meaty is how I would put it. So have a listen. So it's quite loud. Definitely loud. There's also quite a big gap between each click. You can hear. There's quite a bit of travel there. It's also quite resistant, I would say, more than many others. And I'm just not a fan of it, honestly. I would prefer it if it was a bit lighter. I'd prefer it if it clicked a bit easier. And yeah, in my personal opinion, I think the scroll wheel could use some work. Now, other people out there may not think that way, and it's definitely going to be good in terms of you're probably not going to accidentally do anything on the scroll wheel. It's sort of like scroll up or scroll down by accident. So I could see why they've done it, but I'm just personally not a fan of it. Which brings us now to the conclusion, and what do I make of the Zowie EC2-B Gaming Mouse? So it's a very safe looking gaming mouse with a very safe design to it. That's good in terms of comfort. It's going to be good for everyone, so it's not going to have any issues there. Now the sensor is phenomenal. I don't think anyone will try out this gaming mouse and say, oh man, the sensor sucks. No one is ever going to do it. It's very good. But the limited adjustment will rub some people the wrong way. And I can really understand why. It's one of those things. There's just two sides to it. There's the ease of not having any software, but then you get the limitations in terms of the DPI. So that's going to be an issue for some people out there. Now the buttons are generally pretty good, especially the right and the left click. I think most people will like it, but I do take an issue with the scroll wheel, which means overall, what do I make of it and who do I recommend it for? So I would say overall, it is a good gaming mouse. It definitely is. If you're someone that's mainly playing first-person shooter games and you're someone that is like the main thing they're looking for in a gaming mouse is having a very good sensor, then I think you can definitely go with this gaming mouse and you will have a great experience. It's going to be very safe. I think if you're a person that cannot try any gaming mice in stores, you're only having to buy things online, you're a little bit worried, you know, maybe I buy this and oh, it might not be that good. This one will be perfect because it's so safe. I think anyone could order this online and receive it and try it out and they'd be like, oh yeah, it's good. You know, it's very safe in that aspect. So yeah, I do like it. I do think it is a good gaming mouse. However, going forward, I would say, personally, I would think it would be better if they could maybe revise the scroll wheel, as that's really the only issue I had with it. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you owned or ever tried a Zowie gaming mouse before? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, I thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe to Tech Showdown if you haven't already and like the video. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.